hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of month where a lot of the content that's on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. But if you're still here, then I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're okay with me talking about spoilers. So I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about what a world without Naruto Uzumaki could potentially be like. And I think that this is something that like a lot of people, they don't want to discuss. But you know, when we got to that last chapter and you know, you had Kurama telling Naruto on 3 or 4 different occasions, like, Naruto, you sure you want to use this power? Because if you use it, this means you're gonna die. The fact is that if we do get to this point, if we get to this point where Naruto does die, how is the world going to survive without Naruto Uzumaki? And I'm not just talking about from the power scaling perspective and all the calculations ranking where Naruto and the other kages are to one another. I'm not even getting into that shit. You guys know that's not really a forte of this channel. I could give a fuck about that shit. But the fact is that when you look at the actual lore surrounding the actual character of Naruto and his importance as Hokage, there's a huge question that needs to be asked about that, because Naruto's Hokage is very important to the Shinobi Union and the Shinobi Alliance. And when you start looking at the relationships that he has with the different members of the 5 Kage, this is even more so important, because we know from the Shikamaru Shinden novel that there's a moment where war almost breaks out between the Hidden Cloud Village and the Hidden Stone Village, and things were getting tense enough to where the Stone Village and the Mist Village were working together. They were going to work together to invade another country that was an ally of the Hidden Cloud Village, and Naruto and Gar basically were taking the side of the Land of Lightning in that situation. Naruto was able to defuse the situation with the help of his feudal lord to prevent any type of a situation of war breaking out between those nations. When you go to the Boruto anime, the same thing was going on. The Land of Water and the Land of Fire were in a situation where there was a peace treaty that they were talking about that had not yet been signed, and they were on the precipice of going to war with one another. That was part of the true reason for why you had that Hidden Mist field trip arc. That way Shino and Anko could talk with the current Mizukage Chojuro and the former Mizukage Mei as a way to try and come to an agreement on that peace treaty that they're trying to sign. So the signs of war have always been there in this Boruto era, even though they're essentially at peace with one another. And when Naruto used that scientific ninja weapon tech, you know, you have that moment in the Shikamaru Shinden novel where it's revealed that some of the Kage view what Naruto did as Konoha basically having an act of war by developing military technology, even though Naruto's heart was in the right place. Which brings me to another point. With Naruto being out of the picture now, does that open up the door for more instability among the 5 great nations? I definitely think that that's the case. I definitely think that's the case there. Now, once you do get into what happens with the Isshiki Otsutsuki threat, I mean, obviously Isshiki is a problem, but I think that you have to look at it from a different perspective too. Naruto dying is going to bring up questions among the 5 Kage, which is the fact that, you know, when Naruto said he's going to personally look after Kawaki, Naruto's failed. Naruto's failed because he's brought Isshiki to their doorsteps. You had some of the Kage who were not in favor of keeping Kawaki and allowing him to live inside of the village. There was a bit of a split there. Naruto dying can only prove some of those Kage right. Yes, Naruto and Darui and Gar both took sympathy on Kawaki, saying like, look, I'm not gonna treat him like a prisoner of war and keep him confined because we got personal relationships with Jinchuriki. Gar used to be a Jinchuriki and Naruto is a Jinchuriki. I'm not gonna take that stance. However, the other 2 Kages, they paused for a moment. So what we've seen seen on more than one occasion is that Chojuro and the current Tsuchi Kage, they've taken each other's side more than once. And so if there is a split like this, that does open up the possibility that the relationship between the 5 Kage could crumble. Now, when you start looking at this new generation and what Naruto's death means for them, Naruto is the Hokage, and the Kage who went to bat for them numerous times saying you can't give up on this new generation just yet. They need a little bit more time to develop, but I see beautiful things in these young men and women who are coming up under our care right now. It's just our responsibility to keep nurturing them and wait for them to blossom into being fine shinobi themselves. And so when you look at things from that perspective, I think that losing a character like Naruto does set up the possibility that you're gonna start seeing that new generation of shinobi all of a sudden step up to fill that void. I think that that is going to be a case, just like how you saw after Hiruzen Sarutobi passed away. Everything happened very quickly soon after that, but there was a void. The darkness that was Orochimaru was slowly spreading into Konoha and the surrounding areas, and they realized that they need to fortify their defenses. Tsunade was able to get over her fear of blood in a way that makes Tsunade stronger. When you look at the impact of the Sasuke retrieval stuff, because Orochimaru was able to openly move in the shadows with Hiruzen Sarutobi deceased at this point, the Sound 4 brazenly came into Konoha to take Sasuke away. And then the members of the Sasuke retrieval team and the other members of Sasuke's generation, they themselves trained to meet that darkness. I think that you could see a very similar situation here to where Boruto's generation, now that they're Hokage, has essentially been taken out. Now that they see the instability that this has created, I definitely think that this is going to be their call to action, their call to adventure, to make them undergo their own individual heroes' journeys in order to get more powerful themselves. And I think that is going to be a very, very welcome side effect of this. And I think that this actually has a possibility of playing out much better than what you got in the Chapter Black saga of Yu Yu Hakusho, which is regarded as one of the best arcs and shown in history by a lot of people. And in that arc, I mean, Yusuke was killed off, and in the immediate aftermath of Yusuke dying at the hands of somebody significantly more powerful than him, what you ended up getting was all of Yusuke's friends. They awakened sleeping powers inside of themselves that jumped them up several tiers in power as they moved up the demon classes. And so when you look at the impact that a death like that had in that short term, and they had to train after the fact to maintain that power and then push that power even further, I think that you could have a similar situation here to where you start seeing it on the members of Boruto's generation who have a direct relationship with Naruto. So you would see it in Boruto because his father would be passing away in front of him. You would see it with Sarada, who idolized the 7th Hokage, and potentially this be what makes her Mangekyo Sharingan awaken. You would also see it in somebody like Mitsuki, who has that relationship with Naruto just because Mitsuki is trying to play hide the snake with Boruto, and then you would just start seeing it kind of branch out from there. But also you would also see a character like Sasuke potentially take that other Hashirama cell arm that Tsunade had made for him 16 years ago, and Sasuke wield that arm. You could potentially see that in the benefits that comes from getting Hashirama cells inside of his body and the increased strength that would give Sasuke, as well as potentially the ability to use wood release as well. So I definitely think that Naruto passing away in this instance could actually lead to other characters rising in the wake of his sacrifice. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts about this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.